Kim began coaching girls volleyball at Deer Valley High School as an assistant in 1984. Was named head coach in 1986 and served in that position for 10 years. In 2002, she launched the boys volleyball program at Deer Valley and was instrumental in the Deer Valley Unified School District decision to implement boys volleyball district-wide. Soon other West Valley school districts followed her lead. And they also established boys volleyball as an AIA sport. Her teams posted 373 wins with 159 losses for a 70% winning percentage. Her 1995 girls team was state runner-up. Her 2010 boys team went undefeated and was state champion. And her teams won 8 regional championships. The AIA named Kim State Coach of the Year in 2010, and she had been Region Coach of the Year 5 times. In 2009, Kim was the first recipient of the Deer Valley Unified's Pursuing Victory with Honor Award. She again received that prestigious honor in 2019. Kim Ulrich-Suss.
Thank you very much. The last workout before the playoffs, I brought every team into the gym and had them sit and look up at the wall where, if they won, their respective banner would hang. Close their eyes and visualize walking back into our gym, holding their son or daughter's hands and whispering that mom or dad was a part of that success. That they left their mark playing for Deer Valley High School, their high school, something larger than themselves. Every one of those athletes is part of this recognition today. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this glorious honor. I am humbled to be recognized with these amazing other coaches. I'd like to thank Nadine Sass and Sharon Osterman, who were my mentors in the sport of volleyball, and Sue Edwards, who's the voice of the Skyhawks, who I love dearly. So for 10 years, I coached women's volleyball. I'd also like to thank my buddy and assistant coach, Debbie Eubanks, who was by my side. My biggest success should have been that state runner-up in '95. But really, it was the 1996 team who should have won the state title. But this crazy coach accepted an invitation to the Western Canadian Invitational. We were the only team from the United States there, and we won it all, and got to sing the U.S. national anthem on Canadian TV. Well, those 40-year-old women still talk about that with such pride. I'd like to thank Teresa Ayub Demeter for being here repping that special team. So for 10 years, I coached track at Deer Valley. And I want to thank my assistant coach, Deanna Halliburton, whose knowledge of biomechanics was irreplaceable. We never won the state as a team, but we had winning relay teams and many individual state champs, along with winning the region for 8 consecutive years. I'd like to thank Denise Baker and Coach Chrissy Darga Borg for repping those special track women and continuing the legacy for being on the cusp of coaching Liberty Cross Country to a state championship this year. So for 17 years, I coached volleyball men's at Deer Valley. In 2010, we were down 0-2 in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the championship game, and came back to win all 3 of them 3-2, going 22-0 on the season, and finally winning our first state championship. My setter was one of those calculus kids, and on the way home in the bus, he says, "Coach, I did the math. Do you know what the odds were of us winning that state championship? They were 1 in 2,000. I said, "I'm sure glad you didn't tell us that before the match." I'd like to thank assistant coach Denise Derry, whose expertise and dedication helped us to get to the very top. And a special thanks to Coach Eric Palmer, whose loyalty kept him by my side at Deer Valley since his playing days. He's taken over the program with passion and integrity, and he's brought the Skyhawks back into the hunt for a state championship this year. Thanks to assistant coach Mike Jackson, who came out for the girls team as a senior when I was coaching them, and I told him, no way. But go to the school board and ask them to bring men's volleyball on board. So he did. He was such a special guy, but his baby brother, Chris Jackson, got the benefit of playing on Deer Valley's inaugural team with Coach Palmer. He came back as a JV coach, moved into college coaching, all the way to coaching the national team at the Beijing Olympics. I'd like to thank both my son, who's a competitive marathon runner, and his stud wife, Nicole, for keeping me in the game even though I'm retired. And to my sports psychology clients for extending my influence to a lot of the mental game, to a lot of different sports. But mostly I want to thank my husband, Sid, for his patient and undying support over the 38 years of our marriage and my career. I want to thank my dear friend Cheryl Ingram, who as Goldwater principal helped craft the proposal to bring men's volleyball on board to our whole DVUSD district, followed by the West Valley schools. And the rest is history. There are over 100 men's volleyball programs now in the state of Arizona, and it is growing. I want to thank my administrators for their support. Principal Barbara Dobbs and Kim Crooks, ADs Tom Mick, John Allen, and Stacy Spencer. So my team had a 70% win-loss ratio. We had 16 region championships, 1 state champ, 1 runner-up. 64 athletes who went on to play college sports, 43 athletes who have become coaches themselves, 59 who are now parents who have kids playing volleyball or running. So what set of numbers is most important to me? Both. After success as a women's coach, I wanted to know that I could be respected, teach life lessons, and win as a men's coach as well. Female athletes taught me that women can be kind and caring and compassionate, as well as being tough and strong and great athletes. Male athletes taught me that men are strong and tough and great athletes, and yet still can be kind and compassionate and caring. The best teams I've ever coached have done it all. As coaches of student athletes, we must teach it all. Sportsmanship and winning are not mutually exclusive. They are interdependent. Young coaches, please hear me. None of us have gotten into the Hall of Fame without winning a lot in our coaching career. But the modeling and the life lessons that you teach those athletes are what leaves your legacy. To keep my priorities straight, I carried a quote on my clipboard that said, "Winning and losing are just a blip on the learning line. But what we teach athletes about life will always be remembered." Thank you to all of my former athletes and supporters here tonight for helping me live the most exciting, fulfilling life that any coach could ever ask for. Thank you.